Our following speaker has more than 15 years of pre-sales experience and a passion for technology and cybersecurity, with a unique combination of artistic sales talent and technical expertise. He'll be speaking about redefining security for the new digital era. Please welcome Ahmad Abou Zaher, Senior Solutions Engineer at Cloudflare.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Really very interesting discussions about AI and the use cases and applications of AI. Now we will shift a little bit the discussion about how do we actually deliver these AI applications in a secure approach, to our customers, basically to the people that use these AI applications. So I want to start by talking about what are the key priorities that we see today with this, digital age, the transformation that is happening around us in terms of IT and digitalization. Basically, the main priorities we see among the top CIOs, CTOs is, the list on the left here, starting with the reducing the cyber risk. So the cyber attacks have been growing, exponentially. We're seeing more complication and sophistication in the attacks. At the same time, we have a very limited skill sets in cybersecurity, and this is where we need to have these advanced, automation tools or advanced tools that use machine learning to be able to help in security. We are also seeing a major shift in the security for the workforce, for the employees, whether today they're working remotely, they're working from the offices, they're using different devices at any time. So how do we secure this attack service targeting, the employees, the devices that they use from ransomware attacks, from, credential theft and other types of attacks. Among the top priorities for CIOs as well and CTOs is to reduce the operational costs. So today with the growth of the tools and software and that they use the operation, the management of these tools, whether it is from a security point of view, from a networking point of view to protect the infrastructure, we're seeing a lot of overlap, there's limited integration, a lot of tools are used over there. And the last one is the management or the cost of the infrastructure itself. Now we are moving the infrastructure from being a physical to a virtual or to a cloud-based or to be managed by cloud providers. How do we manage, the challenges of, operating this infrastructure? So I want to show this architecture, which could be familiar to you. Traditionally we usually have, the traditional architecture where we have our, centralized data centers where we host our servers, where we host our, application, and this is very well defined. The parameter is defined, the security controls, where the traffic should go from, who should have access to what. But this has changed when we started, moving to the cloud providers. We started shifting the infrastructure outside and we started using SaaS-based or cloud-based applications. At the same time, on the left, you have the users or the employees, the technology user who was sitting in the office. Now, after COVID, he's working from home, he's working anywhere, he's using, any device, his personal device, his business device, and also we have a lot of external users, third-party, contractors or vendors that are basically helping us manage this infrastructure. So you see this complex architecture where we have these point solutions that we have inherited over time. We were adding more and more point solutions to fix, certain problems. There is limited integration between, these tools, and there's really very difficult to manage infrastructure. So where we're going with this is basically that we want to rethink or redefine how we want to secure the parameters, secure our application, secure the user experience, and this is where we want to look at how do we build a composable and end-to-end fabric or a platform that securely connects my customers to my application, my users to my, to the application, wherever the application is, wherever the user is. Maybe I have third-party contractors that I want to give them a specific access for a specific tool. One of the examples, I was talking to a customer, and that customer, they have offices across the region. They have only for VPN access. They used to have 3 or 4 different VPN softwares to connect their users, right? So now we want to actually go and consolidate, rebuild this, security to have a unified security that we can apply the policies and security for the users, to access these devices. And as an example of such a platform is basically a global network that is built to deliver services from the edge of the network, right? Take these point solution, the hardware-based or software-based solution, and move them and deliver them as a service, all right? So now we're talking about delivering, security, whether it is, user security or application security from the edge of the network. So an example of this, a global network of Cloudflare, 300 cities where there's local edge networks that are built to do the protection and security for that. So this network today is mainly seeing 20%, so 1 out of 5 clicks on the internet is rolling through this network and giving 100% uptime on the availability of the websites of the published services because of the, the redundancy and availability that is available over there. So I want to talk about 3 main things that we are redefining security for. Number 1 is protecting the networks, right? I was just talking to one of the customers in our booth. He was telling me, listen, today we have multiple ISPs that we use to deliver connectivity to our data center, but they're not having any consistent protection in terms of DDoS or protecting attacks coming to our infrastructure. So protecting your networks, protecting your servers, your infrastructure is very important, and you should, be able to deliver this in a consistent way, independent of the ISP or the operator that you use, and do this protection at the end, at the edge of the network, right? So number 1 is protecting your network, your infrastructure, whatever this is, hosted on premise, on the cloud, whatever it is. Then protecting your applications, any public-facing application that is accessible from the outside is, vulnerable. How do we protect it in terms of firewalling it? Network firewall, web application firewall, even bot firewall, API firewall. So the protection today is happening at multiple layers, right? And we want to consolidate these layers instead of having point solutions working in silos. We want to provide a centralized way of, doing this inspection and, in one place and doing this security for your application. After protecting these applications, we want to look at protecting the employees, the users who are actually now accessing these applications. Now, the users can be sitting in the office doing their work. Now we want to protect their internet and secure their internet access. What URLs, what websites are they supposed to access? Are they accessing any bad content, unauthorized content? Are they allowed to access social media during working hours? So this is user security. Are they transferring any data that they authorized to send outside the organization? Right? So all this falls under secure access, data loss prevention, security for the users, monitoring the user's activity, and make sure that the security is proactive, for these users. So workers, applications, and infrastructure are distributed, are everywhere, and so that security has to be everywhere and, be available for these infrastructure. So not just web application, as I mentioned about the infrastructure, we want to have a security to protect, your application be like a bodyguard, something in the middle, like a proxy or something that intercepts all the traffic, do the filtering, and make sure only clean traffic is actually reaching your destination or reaching your servers or applications. So at Cloudflare, we have this bidirectional portfolio of products and solutions that we are inspecting the traffic inbound coming in to your services, to your applications, and also outgoing traffic from a zero trust point of view, what traffic is leaving the organization, what traffic is generated or from the user to the internet, or if the user is working remotely, what access he's allowed to have at any point in time, and he's actually allowed to access these applications at this point in time. So we are also mainly looking at DDoS. If we look at the DDoS threat landscape, it has been emerging and sophisticated. One of the largest DDoS attack happened a couple of months ago. It was 71 million requests per second, and this was a large attack, more than the attack that Google mitigated last year. More than 30,000 botnets and sources was used to launch this distributed denial of service attacks, and basically it lasted for 5 minutes. And we are seeing a lot of similar DDoS attacks across the region targeting specific organizations. Now, these sophisticated attacks have well-funded, well-organized, attackers or actors behind them. So really here we are looking at a modern architecture, like a SASE architecture that brings the security and delivering it as a service, the networking part of it for connectivity as well, and delivering it as a service from a global network that is available close to the user, right? And deliver this in a simple way, like plug and play. There is no complexity in the deployment, there is no complexity in the management, and giving an automation to be able to connect or integrate this platform with the ecosystem that is available out there today from a security, from a SOC, and from a SIEM point of view. So really we are looking into redefining security in terms of simplifying the security layer, having a unified security layer for all the infrastructure that you have, consistent policies, securing the hybrid workforce, securing the connectivity, reducing the threat landscape over there by having this type of solution in place. As well, if we look at the leadership in the market, more than 9 analysts as well recognize this platform, Cloudflare, as a leader in the market for these types of solutions. Okay, so thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, please, our booth is just, when you exit facing you, please feel free to visit us anytime. Thank you so much.